Welcome everyone to a BizzyWebinar. This is Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Delighted to have you with us today. We're going to talk about grow your business with email and social media, simple marketing strategies for small business and nonprofit. This is going to be an action-packed event, and I'm assuming you're going to have some questions. So I'm going to switch my screen over just a second here so that you can see how you can ask those questions during the event. So if you are on this page, and if you're watching via the embedded video, that's fantastic, but you may want to click on the link for YouTube channel, for our YouTube channel right here. And if you click on that link, it's going to take you to this page. And if you're watching, and I'm actually going to mute that so that you don't have to hear me twice. But when you click on this page, you can actually click on the live chat link to say something, to ask us a question. So right here, BizzyWeb says, ask a question here during our event. Or if you'd like, you can also tweet to the hashtag BizzyWebinar. That's #BizzyWebinar. And we'll check that probably after the event because we're trying to get as many questions in on the live chat as possible. So thank you very much. Again, if you'd like to ask questions during today's event, just go to our YouTube channel link. And when you go into that YouTube channel page, you'll be able to see this page. So you'll see that, and everything should work just peachy. All right, so here we go. I'm going to switch over back to the presentation, and let's get rolling. If you do have a question that you don't get answered during today's event, or if you're feeling shy and don't want to ask live on the Hangout, you can also ask a question by sending me an email to dave@bizzyweb.com, or you can dial us at our main line at 612-424-9990. You can also request the PowerPoint for today's event by doing the same thing. So if you would like today's slides, just send an email to dave@bizzyweb.com. You can also probably do that in the YouTube comments, but it'd probably be more safe to just send an email directly to me for those so that it doesn't show up in the public record of the event. Again, if you have questions, best way is to just post them live on the event, and I will answer those as they come in. So first, you might be wondering, who the heck is BizzyWeb? What do we do? Who are we? What's the deal? And the deal is that BizzyWeb is a digital marketing agency. We're located in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we focus and specialize on digital marketing for medium-sized businesses, so large, small businesses, whatever you have. Basically what we do is we help with website designs, and here's some example of those websites. We do digital marketing, and that includes email marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization, content optimization, AdWords or advertising, and of course, just helping you build a solid strategy. So if any of those sound like something that you're struggling with, we can absolutely help you with that. And where we really come in and shine is if you're thinking about hiring someone in your digital marketing, we are very favorably priced against that option. And we can probably get you a lot better results with experts in each of the places that I mentioned with much less than the investment of a single person. All right, so that's the end of our advertising. Let's go through our agenda today. First, we're going to talk about what small business marketing is like, what's going on today, how things happen, and what you need to be concerned about in your marketing. We'll also talk through how to set your goals, choosing the right message, and that's going to include building your platform, relationship building through content, and how to write a great call to action. Calls to action is a little bit of marketing jargon, but what it means is just telling people what to do once they're at your email, your website, your social media post, your advertisement. It's all in the art of getting people to take the appropriate next step with you. We're going to talk about how to measure success, and then we're going to finally go into how to get everything started and get the rubber on the road, start applying those bits and bytes to help you bring in new business and help you be more successful online. With small business marketing. First, in the olden days, back 3 or 4 years ago, right? Marketing then used to be where you would try to broadcast to as many people as possible in the hopes that a few of those folks would end up at your door. So it's the equivalent of standing on a street corner with megaphone in hand, shouting at the world, and not really expecting and probably hoping that people aren't going to engage with you in conversation. It's the advertising on radio. It's taking out a full page ad in your newspaper. It's putting out flyers to 3,000 people and putting them on your doorstep. And so it's trying to get out to as many people as possible and playing the percentage game, hoping that someone somewhere might be interested in your marketing message. Let's flip that upside down now, because digital marketing has really helped you to work on building meaningful messages with the people that already know you and with people that have already identified with the messaging that you're providing. So my job now, instead of trying to reach as many people as possible in the hopes that a couple will show up, is to connect with the few hundred people that I already do business with, and then ask them to share what's going on in my business, to click like or to click share or to reply, and to let the marketing kind of blossom from there. So one person tells a friend, and that person tells another friend, and that person tells two more friends, and then that one person has grown into several dozen or several thousand connections. And so that's really what digital marketing has let us do. You focus on being amazing, you focus on talking to the people that already know and love you, and you let the marketing do the rest of the work. So that leads us to what your real advantage as a business owner is. You have a great connection with your clients, with the people that you're working with everything that you're already doing. So you have an advantage over Coca-Cola, over US Bank, over whatever, because you see your clients every day. Small businesses can be extremely competitive against their bigger competitors by just making that connection and by sharing the stories and connections and next steps, the things that you do to help your customers grow their business. And so that's really something that a big business can't do. And engagement is now how you do that. So instead, again, of taking a full page ad out or taking out an advertisement or really standing on a street corner and screaming into the wind, you're connecting via any of these tools to help make real connections. So Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, Yelp, email marketing, or Instagram, all of those are easy ways to make real connections with people that might need your services. So there's a lot of options here. How do you make sure that you're making effective decisions? Well, there's one thing that you probably haven't given a whole lot of thought about, especially if you're at this digital marketing seminar. And that's that the #1 cell phone app isn't necessarily Facebook. It's not web browsing. It's not Snapchat or Instagram. It's email. And if you're looking to get real results, the best thing that I can tell you is that email is where you can spend your cash and have it return real results. Most of the email marketing tools out there, Constant Contact, Get Response, MailChimp, any of the others that are doing real work, will return an average ROI or return on investment of $41 per dollar spent. Constant Contact starts at $15 to $20 a month. Super simple. So if you think about that, it's an easy way to really connect and to reach people with a minimal budget. And now everything's kind of flipped on its head with digital marketing, and people now trust strangers as much as they trust their friends as regarding online marketing. So when you look at the real numbers, 46% of shoppers rely on social media when they're making a purchase. They'll look at the reviews, the connections, what people say on the Facebook page of a company. And 88% of those folks find online reviews as trustworthy as personal recommendations. What you're really seeing is that people not only trust word of mouth from physical friends and compatriots, They're trusting what the people that visit social accounts are saying on their marketing. So if you have an engaged and connected audience, and if you have, 100 5-star reviews on Facebook or a lot of interaction on Instagram, people are much more likely to want to do business with you now than ever before. So let's take this back for a second and let me show you a real world scenario. So based on the marketing funnel today and the knowledge of how email marketing and social media play into success, here's a quick example of how Half Moon Yoga was able to leverage the marketing funnel. They're a small studio in Massachusetts whose biggest goal was to generate revenue. For them, that means butts in seats or on yoga mats. And when we consulted with them, they were putting effort into sending lengthy monthly emails, posting to every social media site they could think of, and hosting open house events. They were really spread thin and they weren't getting in front of the right people. So when we looked at the strategy behind what they were trying to really achieve, we looked back at their actual goal. And so we encouraged them to send short bi-weekly blasts about their class schedule and to focus social strategy primarily to Facebook, where we decided that most of their clients were after we did a quick analysis of who they were trying to reach. Within months, they had doubled their class attendance. By helping Half Moon Yoga define what their users were truly after, we were able to help them focus their budget and their time in places that would yield the biggest bang for their buck in return. So let's talk about those goals. First, when you're looking through goals, you have to look at what you're actually trying to achieve. It might be to increase sales. You might want to drive referrals and repeat business. Maybe engage volunteers, members, or advocates. You might be looking for new customers or donors. And you could nurture leads and relationships with existing people. Some of you probably want to do all of those things. And of course, at different times during the year, during the life cycle of your business, these goals will change. And that's where you need to be careful about spreading yourself too thin. Trying to achieve too much all at once may take you away from your ultimate goal. If you had to prioritize, take a step back and think how you would rank those goals based on the importance to your organization right now. So as we set those goals, let's ask some questions. So perhaps who you're trying to reach, what your target is, and that's real numbers. And when will this goal be accomplished? So when you look at this, you need to choose the right method of communication to reach all of these. Target numbers is probably actual conversions. It's not a number of likes on Facebook. It's not a certain amount of page views. It's not even an open rate on your email. It's what is actually real to your business. Again, for Half Moon Yoga, it was butts on yoga mats, right? So are they moving that needle? Are they pushing things forward? Are they actually accomplishing something? If they had a fantastic email campaign that didn't generate any new attendees, it's a failure. Even if it had a 100% response rate and it reached 10,000 people. So think about what, who, and when for all of those things. It's a typical SMART goals thing, right? So specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, and time-based. Make sure that you're setting that point, but that also that it actually applies to your business and that it means something. So take a second now and write your own. Here's an example. So for Half Moon Yoga, your example is they're looking for current and previous members. They want an average of 10 attendees per class, and they want that result over the next 3 months. And while you think of that, I'm just going to switch back over and make sure that we don't have any questions yet. So if you do have questions, the best way to connect or to ask those questions is simply to type right here under the live chat window. And if you're not at this YouTube live window, you can simply go to the YouTube channel link under this embedded video, and then you can ask all the questions you like on this live event. So you just click right here under live chat, click where it says say something, and then go ahead and ask that question. We've got 14 people on the call right now or on this webinar right now, so I know some of you have probably had some questions about how all this stuff works. So we'll keep going as we wait for that, but think about how all of that stuff is going to work for you. So again, the who, the what, and the when. So now that you've got your goals set up, let's look at choosing the right message. First, you're going to need to pick your platform. And when you think of platforms, there's two big ones to really consider almost regardless of network. First, 90% of people or 90% of email gets delivered into the inbox. Whereas on Facebook, which is the other big one, guess how many percentage of Facebook fans will actually see that? Well, 2%. So if you had 1,000 people that were connected with you on email, that have subscribed to your email, versus 1,000 fans or people that have clicked liked on your Facebook page, 900 of those people would see your message in their inbox and 20 would see your Facebook post, unless you've done some other things to more deeply engage with your customers. And one of those things is using email. So email plus social media equals real results. 73% of campaigns get more customer engagement when they use both. It could be as simple as having a share button in your email or linking back from a social media post to subscribe to your emails. 57% get more new customers when they send out a note, and 39% get more business referrals. So when you're looking at this and you're trying to build a reputation online, using email and social can be a very healthy way to generate better results. Let's look at what social sharing actually looks like in the real world. So this is Jack's Barbecue, and Jack's does some pretty interesting things when it comes to email marketing. So if you could share your emails on social media like Facebook, there's a lot of benefits that you could see to sharing email on social media. It might increase visibility by sharing email on social media. You can get in front of more people rather than if you just send it to your list. You can grow your list. Anyone who sees your email on social who isn't already on your list can opt in to subscribe. So they'll receive messages straight to their inbox in the future. And again, knowing that you have that average 2% connect back, that it's going to be much better for you to have an absolute connection via email as well as on social media. And then to save time, how much time are you spending trying to think of content across all the different social network channels? And you don't have to create unique content for each of those different channels. All you have to do is create your email and then post it to social media. And that's easy to do with the settings inside of tools like Constant Contact. Not only can you combine forces outside of your message, Constant Contact also has tools to promote social media inside your message. When you place clickable links on your social media pages in those emails, you'll not only drive traffic to your pages on those networks, you'll also get valuable tracking data that will tell you which social sites your subscribers are using the most. By comparing the amount of traffic you get with each of your social pages, you'll be able to determine where to efficiently spend your time on social networks. Whichever platform is the most popular to your audience is clearly where you should be spending most of your time. For Half Moon Yoga, for example, here, Pinterest and Facebook are the big winners, with YouTube as a third place, and then Instagram and Twitter being relatively low. So yeah, just thinking about that. And again, you don't want to take it from one point in time and from one email, but you're going to want to aggregate these as you move forward. So if you consistently see that Facebook and Pinterest are the big ones for your customers, that's where you should probably spend your time using or in your digital marketing. So next is when to post. It's a very common question, both for how often to send and also when in terms of time a day and week. For social media, Really, your baseline should be 3 to 5 times a week is plenty for almost all the networks that we've talked about. Email is probably a little less than that. Probably want to do once a week at the most, maybe once a month as a better option. But for Facebook, you can post 3 to 5 times. Twitter, you can post as much as you want because that's kind of the method of the medium. Instagram, same. Pinterest, same. But Snapchat, of course, there's no top. But if you're looking for a way to kind of balance the realities of your life with having to do some sort of social outreach, at least once a week in social media and once a month with email is your baseline. So then building relationships through content is a great way to connect. And I'm going to warn you that you're not going to see the greatest success simply by picking a platform and blasting your goals. In this new digital marketing area of the world, audiences respond to brands they recognize and trust. And how do you build that trust? Well, first, you have to write about them, not about you. In order to reach your goal in the long term, it's not enough to choose a platform and immediately start selling and promoting. People don't enjoy being sold to on social media, but they do enjoy buying after they've formed a relationship with you. 61% of consumers are more likely to buy from companies that offer valuable custom content. Clearly, there's an impactful connection between offering something your audience cares about and their likelihood that they're going to buy. Your job is to find the right balance of offering great content and then also promoting your end goal. So I typically encourage folks to focus about 80% of their content on valuable stuff. Interesting, engaging notes, might be a funny post, although be careful with humor, might be a in-depth, like a picture of behind the scenes, something that you're doing. It's either humorous, it's inviting, it's engaging, it's educational, it's about them, not necessarily about you. That last 20% then is promotion. And I don't necessarily mean buy, it's telling your customers what to do next if they want to work with you. So 80% is about them, 20% is about you and about getting them to the next step. That might sound like 3 common mistakes on your taxes. And then the 20%, so about 2 out of every 10, right, would be let us do your taxes, or attend our seminar, or like us on Facebook, or give us a call today. So your marketing, your world, your life shouldn't be a game of Where's Waldo, right? If people have to hunt and search or just don't understand what the point of your marketing, of the things that you're selling or the things that you're doing online is, there's almost zero chance that they're going to actually take the step that you want them to take. So go ahead and engage them and connect with them with real fantastic content. But then once in a while, again, like 20% of the time, 1 in 5, tell them what to do. So great example again, as we kind of tell a little story. We work a lot with realtors, and with real estate agents, we sometimes run into folks who don't know how to maintain relationships with their current home buyers. After the close date, people really don't want to work closely with their real estate agent anymore because you buy your house on average of every 7 years. So you need to figure out a way to stay connected with the people that you already know without being annoying. If I keep selling or if I keep showing new listings to someone that just bought a house with me, that sends a bad message, right? It tells them that you're just another customer and that you want them to do more even though they've done plenty for you. Brilliantly, one of our customers up in the North Woods of Minnesota engages with their customers after they've purchased by just sharing what's happening in the region every single month. So here's what's happening in the Brainerd Lakes area over the course of the next month. There's a bazaar happening, there's a dance, there's trivia, there's barstool bingo, there's all kinds of wonderful stuff happening all over the place, right? So if you connect and you do those things, that makes it super easy for you to take the next step. And when your customer sees a message from you once a month, when time comes that they do meet a friend that needs a realtor, they're much more likely to think of you. So another easy way to do this is to turn questions like, how do I weatherproof my new golf bag? Can I set my own volunteer hours? Where can I find a map of your location? Into content. So, tutorial to weatherproof your bag, top 3 benefits to volunteering this summer, and we're in your neighborhood and find out where. So people are already asking you questions that they need help with. If you have frequently asked questions on your website, you have a ready-made list of things that your clients are already asking you. And keep an eye on all of that, because sometimes you'll run into that where people really need help and where things need to connect up, where you need to ask questions and you need to provide those answers. So as you think of that stuff, just think again, write about it from your customer's perspective, and that's what you should put in your social media posts. Let's dig a little deeper and use content to create a subject line. Well, first, when you're talking about subject lines, and this is in social media, in web posts, in Facebook, in emails, all of those are designed and they need to clearly engage. So as you're looking to build a great subject line, again, for posts, for emails, for web pages, here's some key things to think about. First, it needs to be short. 5 to 8 words long is all you're going to get. And when you think about that in the real world, we don't have a lot of real estate, especially on mobile devices, to read a long and lengthy subject line. You need to get right to the point with what people are looking for. Also helps to tag into people's psyches and into how we work as humans, to include numbers. People love things that are quantified. The top 3, the 5 things you need to know, 7 ways you can save money this summer. And then again, encourage action. So keep it short, include some numbers, and tell them what to do next. Could be, we could sum this up a different way in the rule of 2-2-2. You get the first 2 words should engage people. You need to tell people what to do within 2 seconds. They need to know what that next step is, and you need to tell them what they need to do today. So keep it short, quantify it, and tell them what to do next. And there's resources to help you do this. As you're looking around the web, you can search for blogs in your related industries, maybe people that refer lots of business to you or related things. If you're a member of a trade association, you're probably reading a bunch of content that your customer doesn't have access to, but that you can share. You could do interviews to get testimonials, or just tell people what it's like behind the scenes or what it's like working with you, so you can interview your customers or your employees. You can use social media, of course. So Facebook posts, Twitter accounts, following Pinterest boards, using hashtags to search, or just searching what your competitors or your relationship or your or referral partners are telling you, and share some of that content. You might have a special guest on your blog or on your social media posts, and this will help tap into that customer or that guest's audience as well. Industry news, of course, like I mentioned with blogs, you're privy to a number of industry news sources that your customers just aren't following. It's not because they're bad people or they're uninformed. It's because that isn't their world and it is yours. So share with them some of that industry news. To go back to our real estate example, sharing what the Housing Development Authority has shared as, what the trends are, or how to get a great loan, or the 3 things that the remodeling industry recommends you do to your home to increase saleability or curb appeal. And then, of course, you can also just try a survey. So with tools like Constant Contact, you can send out a quick survey to your customers, to your existing clients, or just out to the general population and have them respond back. And then you can respond or report on the results of that survey. Super, super simple. And when you do, make sure that you're actually making all of this content look like you. On the left, you see the website of Spoiled Rotten, and on the right, you see the email that is sent out by Spoiled Rotten. So if I have that content there, and if I'm spending all the time on my brand, you don't want to just send out an email with your name in the subject line and no images, right? You want to make sure that you have the logo of your business, the same colors as your business, and some images that relate. So some pro tips, just be consistent between the two, match the colors, and also choose your tone, the tone of voice that you use in your website or in your day-to-day business. If you're an informal organization, Spoiled Rotten is probably not going to quote Shakespeare on a regular basis, and they're also probably not going to talk about TPS reports and measuring the ROI of your Spoiled Rotten beads and charms, right? So make sure that you match tone. Yay, free beads is a whole lot different than quantity 7,000 beads at 23 cents a pop, right? So match your tone, match everything that you do with what you're already doing. Visuals can make your content very engaging as well. Forrester did a study of video content that measured that the content on or email marketing, if you include a video in your emails, that increases click-through rates by 300%. You can use video for product demos, customer testimonials, for promotions, or just user-generated content so you can encourage people to send in a video. Nest has a brilliant campaign where it says "Caught on Nest." And so it's people that have done interesting things. Like they just did a Father's Day one yesterday, catching this as a point in time. This is the day after Father's Day on 2017. But they did a one where some kids were actually battling their dad with lightsabers in the living room of this house. So they put that out there. They also put out when a nanny was texting and walking, and the little girl she was nannying grabbed a hose and sprayed her and her phone as she was sitting there because she wasn't paying attention. So all kinds of interesting, engaging content. Images are better than text, and video is better than images. Again, given the general market, you want to mix it up and figure out what works best for you. So pro tips, any email should have 3 or fewer images. I'm not counting the logo in here or the call to action button. Make all of your images clickable. Pajama program in this example should link back to the website of the pajama program company. And make your videos short, under 90 seconds. And if you use the right tools, Vimeo or YouTube, I like YouTube a lot, even over Vimeo, because it helps engage or enhance search engine optimization. It just gives you more options. And so that's probably a good way to go if you want to get the most bang for your buck. Vimeo is great if you don't want your videos shared any other place, because you can lock down the content and still make it visible. And then mobile is a big, big thing. You probably know that mobile devices are a big deal as regards the industry. But prior to the rise of mobile and mobile communication, email had really started to take on an almost website-like feel with multiple columns, navigation elements similar to what you find on websites or even newspapers. But with mobile, the content has to be much more focused. It has to be designed to fit in people's hands. And so looking at that and making sure that you have a single column call out is important. Another tip, avoid using super small fonts. So if you think about what you're doing and how you're doing this stuff, again, if people have to hold it super close to their noses in order to read things, it's not working. So 9 to 12 point type can't really be read. You need to make sure that your text is at least 11 points for body text and 22 points for headlines in order to be legible on a phone. And again, we're talking about a 4-inch screen held at arm's length, right? So you want to zoom in a little bit and note that these messages don't really look small, but that hurry in for free dessert Friday on the right is 22 points. So it sounds massive, if you're used to working in computers, but you have to make it big in order to be useful. And then again, make sure that you limit your image use and the way that you connect. If you have too large of an image that takes forever to download, it's just not going to load. And you can't count on imagery inside of your emails anymore because people might have images turned off because they're on a 3G network somewhere. Or maybe they aren't on Wi-Fi and they have their phone set up to not download images. And so, you wouldn't be seeing a picture of this gorgeous cupcake if you had your images turned off. So make sure that you get right to the point and that you don't rely on that. So we've got the right message. We've picked our platform. We're building relationships. We've got great content. Now let's talk about how to promote your message and how to get the rubber to hit the road. Calls to action are the way to make people take the step that you want them to take. This is that 20% that I was telling you about, where you're promoting your service. You're telling people what to do next. That's all a call to action is. And you've seen a few examples, and now you're going to see them more after I've spelled out exactly what they are. Calls to action join your goals and actual results. Sometimes it's not this dramatic, of course, but what you need to focus on is telling people what to do. If you don't have a bridge between what you want people to do and what you're going to get, you're not going to get anything. So that's where calls to action come in. So unfortunately, we can't force everyone to take action, but there are certain things that we can do to make that action more likely. You can create more clicks in your email by making it look like a button. Standard text will generate, so many clicks, but you're going to get with a button 45% more clicks than you would with just text. It's the difference between what you see on the left and what you see on the right. Giraldi Consulting took some time and really thought about what they're trying to accomplish here. So note the difference between regular email from Outlook and something that was sent out by Constant Contact or via Constant Contact. The email on the right looks way more professional, which will ultimately get you closer to achieving your goal. With regular email, you have a limited number of emails that you can send out at once. You can't control the format. You can't control the branding. There's no tracking and reporting. You don't know who visited. By sending an email through Constant Contact, you have great templates. You have a customizable, mobile responsive, easy to use template. You get brand identity and recognition, and there's features built right in. You can build in that button. 70% of change management initiatives fail. Be a part of the 30%. Ask us how. That call to action in the big button is your call to action. So that's what you want to focus on. Good luck trying to get to the call to action in the email on the left. So there's a lot of gobbledygook. It's all great text. The message is fine, but unless you're willing to look through, and a recent search on Amazon for change management turned up 6,153 titles. If I'm looking at that in line at a grocery store, there's no way I'm going to get to change management initiatives, be a part of those who succeed, ask us how. I'm not going to ask how because I have no idea. And likewise, I'm not going to know who thought enough to actually open that email. And I'm not going to know who clicked. So with email marketing tools, you actually know all of that. Here's how to design an awesome call to action. First, narrow it down to one per email. One study showed that emails with a single call to action increased clicks by 371%. So if you have more than one, it goes down to about half that. If you have more than two, it goes to like a tenth. And once you get down to more than 4 calls to action, the likelihood that anyone's going to click on anything in your message or take any action at all goes down to almost 0. Next, use actionable language. Visit our website, order online, register by July 1st, request a copy, download our guide, make it very obvious what you're asking people to do. And again, put it in a button, something that's going to stand out a little bit. Notice that if I'm going to put text in a button, I don't have a whole lot of text to play with, right? Call today, visit us now, register by July 1. You can't put a paragraph in a button, and that's kind of the point. It needs to be short, sweet, to the point, and get people to take the next step. And finally, staying above the scroll, meaning it should be on that very first screen. They shouldn't have to swipe up or down on their phone. They shouldn't have to scroll up or down on their computer. Your call to action should be right there. Notice in our last example, it said, be part of the 30% who succeed, take or contact us today to find out more. And then creating clickable buttons. Again, if you have a button, much more likely to click through than if you have simple text. It's just easier to find, and we're all half reading what we read, especially on phones. And so if you make it blaringly obvious as to what you're trying to get people to do, if they like you and if they like the message, they're much, much more likely to take that action. Let's go back to Half Moon Yoga for a second and look at what they did. Again, they wanted to engage current and previous members to increase their class attendance to an average of 10 attendees per class. They didn't want 1,000 clicks. They didn't want to increase their Facebook views. They wanted 10 more attendees, or they wanted up to 10 attendees per class. And then the time frame was over the next 3 months. So what was the call to action they put on that email and on their social media? View the schedule. Not a big deal. Very simple on what you're looking for and how you do it. You just pop it right in. I want people to view the schedule because they're much more likely to actually register if they do. So where does this call to action go? First, for example, Hearts and Tails Animal Rescue desperately needed volunteers. They've been sending emails to their subscribers where people would click on the call to action and be taken to the website where they had a hard to find link to download a PDF volunteer form. The volunteers had to fill it out and mail it back as an attachment. So they had a good foundation for their message and an excellent call to action. They wanted people to download the PDF, but they hadn't considered how to execute that goal. By the end of the consultation, we were able to set them up with an online form that would allow readers to click to volunteer and immediately enter their contact details and volunteer preferences. By this, they gained 11 new volunteers, which was one more than their goal. So here's the example online. So you click on this, you enter in your first, last name, home phone, email address, and then, how often do you prefer to get contacted? I'm gonna switch over, make sure we don't have any questions. Looks like we're good for now. So if you do have any questions, here's where to do it. You just go into where to say something. And we have a whole bunch of folks still watching. So make sure that you do ask those questions if you want to know how we can help you, or if you have questions that we can help you with. How about Weston Downtown? They run an annual gala event. They were sending email invitations instructing people to RSVP via email. The registration limit was 500. So as you imagine, it got pretty crazy to keep up with all of those registrations, and things got really messy just by categorizing and tracking all those emails. Registrants didn't know what information to reply with or how to pay. Employees spent hours and hours speaking with customers, reading reply emails to register, tracking all the registrations in an Excel spreadsheet, and then tracking and completing payments using a separate processing tool. Not awesome. Ultimately, they needed a tool that would automate their event management and provide attendees with an easy way to register and pay. So what does that look like? Well, you simply click and you go to a page where you enter in your first, last email, confirm email, and then you just register. You want a full table? Awesome. You want an individual seat? Awesome. Ideally, you would offer people to, and when you click on that individual seat, it doesn't show it here, but if you want an individual seat, it asks how many individual seats you want. And then you click register and you buy. That's all there is to it. Same for the boutique. Boutique on Main had been offering coupons in magazines and newspapers in order to drive sale. The usage was low, so they were targeting thousands of people in their local area, but couldn't keep track of how many coupons were even floating around. Part of the goal was really about who they were offering their coupon to. By offering it to everyone all the time, they were really cheapening out their promotion. A better strategy was to utilize their existing email subscribers who had recently engaged with their messages. We suggested an online coupon to reward regular customers and incentivize them to promote the coupon using social. And so that connected and reached out to qualified new customers. Also had the side benefit of making their Facebook page in particular seem more like a club where people could connect and relate. So what did that look like? People responded to the email. They got this little coupon via their email, and they just had to bring that in and then scan it with their tool. And this went into one of their merchant tools, but simply bring that QR code in, and then when their employees scanned that code, they not only knew who clicked on their email to download and get that coupon, but they knew if that person actually showed up. It's a lot more detail than what you had just by papering your coupon everywhere and hoping for the best. So let's go back then to how to measure success. You've got all of this stuff out. Now you need to make sure that you're actually getting the results that you're looking for. If you're not measuring, you're not marketing. That's the one big truism in marketing. Reports are going to help you determine if you met your goal that we talked about at the beginning of the session. Depending on your goal, you might use reports like who's opening your emails, if they're clicking on your call to action, how many people respond to your form or survey questions, how many sign up for your events, pay for your events, or even claim or share a coupon. Using online marketing like Constant Contact is going to help you save time because you can do all of that inside of the tool. So let's take a look at some of the results that our businesses used to measure their success. First, Hearts and Tails used that form to increase their number of volunteers. By driving readers directly to an online form, Constant Contact automatically recorded all submissions and all the details for interested volunteers. They didn't have to go into a PDF and click and download and bring it in. They could compare that end result directly to their goal to determine whether or not they got more than 10 new volunteers. Weston Downtown used their event RSVP process to save time and increase event registrants. We allowed them to manage their RSVPs, collect event payments, keep track of cancellations, and much more. And the boutique on Main hoped to increase sales by offering a trackable coupon, which allowed them to measure how many coupons were redeemed or shared without having to manually track. No matter what your organization is trying to achieve at any given time, you have the metrics at your disposal to help you gauge whether or not you achieved your initial goal. If you didn't get to where you wanted to be, you can go even further to find the metrics that you need to make better or different options for measuring your next message. Here's what that looks like in Constant Contact. Regardless of your end goal, we've established that email is one of the most effective ways to promote your call to action, not only because 90% of people are reached in the inbox, but because of the feedback that they receive as a sender. Using email, you'll be able to measure how many people are viewing your message and how many people are engaging with your call to action. You'll see a variety of metrics that you can receive on this page, but let's talk about some of the most important metrics. Opens. First, this metric is invaluable to helping you achieve your goals because if you're not getting the audience to open your message, you'll never have a chance to interact with that message. First, you want to take a look at the list of people who opened your email. You'll see the day and time they opened that email, and this is where you can look for trends in the day or week and time of day. This will help you choose a better time when more contacts are more likely to open your email. Your subject line is one of the most important factors that affects your open rate. So if you have low open rates, that'd be my recommendation for the first place to look, and then secondarily, day and time. Make sure your subject line is easily recognizable and that your sender is easily recognizable. It should come from something at your business. It shouldn't come from sales. It shouldn't come from whatever. It should probably come from a person, or at very minimum, like BizzyWeb does, events for registrations, or we do Dave or Jen, because those are the two people that you work with, that our clients work with most often. So It would not be sales though, because who wants to get a message from sales? Industry averages for open rates on messages across the board range from 8 to 28%. And if you want more data on that, you can actually follow up with me and I'll send you a link to an industry average note. I did hear a quick button. Nope, no questions. I thought I had a question here, so I'm going to switch back. And the second thing to think about, other than opens in email, is click-throughs. Now, this is where the rubber really, really hits the road. You'll know how, not only how many people are opening your message, so how interesting it was, but how useful it was to your clients, and you'll know what they found interesting. So click-through rates is where calls to action come into play. This is getting them to actually do something once they've opened that email. So make sure your link stands out. Make sure you have a button with a contrasting color to make it pop. And most of you probably received emails that you didn't feel like they applied to you. So you probably just deleted that message, right? You may have even unsubscribed. Make sure that you're connecting by giving people better relationships and improving responses by formatting your links to stand out, by simplifying your call to action, and then by sending targeted content. If you have a low open rate but a high click-through rate, you've found a target market. You've found a niche that you can fill. So make sure that you set aside those people that did open that particular email and that had a high click-through rate, and send them something like that again in the future, because you found something that they're interested in. Industry averages for click-through rates are lower than opens, of course, but it's 5 to 18%. So you've got all of the detail, you know how to measure, you know how to choose the right message and set goals. The thing that you need to know now is that you can do this and you can start it today. It's well within your reach. It's 3 simple steps to get you moving. Write your goal, design a great call to action, and then measure the results of any message that you send. This might be on Facebook, it might be on your website, it might be, of course, in an email, but doing something that's meaningful to your business, it's going to generate real business results, and setting up a call to action to get them to take that step and then measuring to see if you're actually hitting that goal is incredibly important. You have all the tools that you need, especially with Constant Contact, together in one place. With BizzyWeb, we can create a website for you that automatically and seamlessly integrates social media, so you can just publish to your website and let your website do the rest of the heavy lifting. With Constant Contact or email marketing tools, you can send out coupons, you can send out connections, you can send out next steps to people, and you can actually see who's opening those messages and then further engage with them. You can use tools like auto response campaigns to drive deeper and to give people the content that they're looking for and the deals that they're hoping for. If you want to find your marketing mantra, go to constantcontact.com/showyourresolve. It's going to give you a quick quiz, and you'll find out how to increase your path to marketing success. It'll give you some things that you're not doing yet and that you can help to grow. We are here to help. So if you have more interest or information, if you want more details and want to know how to have BizzyWeb help you, here's how to do that. First, keep up with us at BizzyWeb.com/events. We've got 8 more events throughout the end of the month here to get you out and marketing and get you doing it better than ever before. So register for those events at BizzyWeb.com/events. If you want more in-depth marketing results or analysis, go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, and we're going to give you, all you need to do is enter in your web address and then a keyword that you'd like to be found for. And our free tool will take about 15 seconds, and it's going to kick back a 10-page report that'll tell you how to better increase your results for that keyword. All right, finally, if you want to keep up with us and make sure that you never miss another webinar, text BIZZY to 22828 on your phone. Just open up your phone, in the to field, type 22828, and then just type BIZZY. Watch your autocorrect, because if you do BUSY, it doesn't work, but text BIZZY What'll happen from there is you'll get a quick text back saying, thank you so much for your interest. Please enter your email address to join our list and to stay up to date with our helpful tips and tricks and events. And you give us your email address, and then boom, the next time that something comes out, which is about once every week, you'll get a note from us. Here's again how to connect. So if you send me an email requesting the PowerPoint or the slide deck today to dave@BizzyWeb.com, you can get that. And again, if you'd like to try out a Buzz report, give us a link to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, and we hope we'll be able to help you from there. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Hope this was as helpful to you as it was fun for me. If you have any other questions, again, feel free to send us that note. But until then, thank you very much for your time and attention. And remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great day.